Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to take a trip back in time. Not to live in the past, but to seek out precious gems, life lessons, hard-won experiences, from people who have walked much longer paths than us. People who have gone through ups and downs, changes that perhaps we are only just beginning to face. That topic is things you need to learn from those who came before you. Dear friends, we are living in an era where everything changes at a dizzying pace. New technologies emerge every day. The job market is constantly evolving, and social challenges are becoming increasingly complex. This sometimes makes us feel that experiences from the past, especially from the older generation, may no longer be relevant, that their world was too different from ours. Isn't that right? But that could be a big mistake. Because no matter how much technology changes, human nature, the core problems of life, like how to build relationships, face difficulties, manage finances, find happiness, still exist across generations. And those who came before us, they carry a treasure trove of life experience, a deep understanding of timeless principles, which we, in the rush of modern life, might be missing. Travel a day, learn a basket of wisdom, an older generation says, reminding us of the value of learning from experience. And sometimes, that experience doesn't have to be our own. According to studies on intergenerational psychology and sociology, connecting and learning from the older generation brings significant benefits to both sides. For young and middle-aged people, this connection provides insight, emotional support, and practical lessons that books or the internet cannot fully convey. For those who came before, sharing their experiences helps them feel valued, purposeful, and maintains their connection to society. It is the transfer of wisdom. Old bamboo grows new shoots. The previous generation lays the foundation. The next generation receives and develops. So, what specific things should young and middle-aged people learn from those who came before? Those who have walked a long path of life. Let's delve into each aspect, with concrete examples in our work and family lives, and also ways you can approach and learn. First, related to our careers and jobs, is lessons on adaptability and perseverance in career. The previous generation experienced difficult economic periods, changes in industries, and challenges at work that we may never have faced. Why is this lesson important in the context of 2025 with the volatility of the labor market and the impact of AI? Because they learned how to overcome uncertain periods, find opportunities in challenges, and maintain perseverance even when things were not smooth. Example in work. Talk to people who have retired or those with long tenure in your industry. Ask them about times they faced the risk of losing their job due to economic recession, or when new technology completely changed how they worked. Learn how they learned new skills to adapt, how they built strong professional relationships, and how they maintained self-belief. Hearing stories about how they failed and got back up will give you resilience when facing pressures in your current job. Example in family. Ask grandparents or parents about how they balanced work and family during difficult periods. How they overcame financial pressure or sudden changes in life. These stories not only hold family historical value but also provide practical lessons on resilience and problem solving. How to learn. Proactively ask questions when you have the opportunity to talk. Find a mentor in your field. Read biographies or memoirs of successful people from previous generations. The second, related to the financial aspect of life, is lessons on financial prudence and long-term planning. The previous generation, especially those who went through recessions or difficult economic periods, often have a very realistic view of the value of money and the necessity of saving. Why is this lesson important in the economy of 2025 with its unpredictable volatility? Because they learned the value of living within their means, avoiding unnecessary debt, and diligently saving for the future, no matter how small the amount. Example in finance. Ask grandparents or parents about how they managed family expenses during difficult economic times. How they saved money to buy a house or send their children to school. Learn about the investments they made, and the lessons from successes or failures. Understand their perspective on debt and building a secure financial foundation. Example in family. Openly discuss your financial plans for retirement with your parents. Learn from their experiences so you can plan better for your own retirement. Looking at how they built wealth or managed debt can help you avoid making similar mistakes. How to learn. Proactively talk about money with older family members respectfully. Find a financial advisor with extensive experience. Read books on financial history and lessons from previous generations. The third, related to happiness and fulfillment, is lessons on building and nurturing meaningful relationships, especially in the context of increasingly complex relationships in the digital world. Lessons on authentic connection from the previous generation are invaluable. Why is this lesson important in the era of virtual connection? Because they built and maintained strong relationships based on direct communication, understanding, and real sharing. Example in family. Ask grandparents or older couples about their secrets to a long and happy marriage. How did they resolve conflicts? How did they keep the spark alive after decades? Learn how they raised children through different stages. Coped with challenges in parenting. Listen to stories about their long-term friendships. How they maintained those relationships despite geographical distance or life changes. Example in work. Learn from older leaders or colleagues about how they built trust and respect with their teams. How they resolved conflicts in the workplace. Look at how they maintained professional relationships with former colleagues or business partners. How to learn. Spend quality time talking with older family members and friends. Listen sincerely to stories about their relationships. Observe how they interact with others. Read books on relationship psychology and studies on aging. The fourth, related to necessary skills for daily life, is lessons on practical life skills and resourcefulness. The previous generation was often very good at being self-sufficient, fixing things, cooking from basic ingredients, and solving problems with what they had. Why is this lesson important in an era where we are so dependent on services and conveniences? Because being able to do things yourself and being resourceful saves money, makes you more self-reliant, and helps you cope better with unexpected situations when immediate professional help is not available. Example in life skills. Ask parents or grandparents to teach you how to fix small things around the house, e.g., fixing a leaky faucet, changing a light bulb, Learn how to cook traditional or simple dishes from basic ingredients. Learn how to start a small garden or grow vegetables at home. Ask them about how they solved problems themselves that we would call a handyman for today. Example in family. Being able to fix things yourself around the house saves money and sets a good example of self-reliance for your children. Cooking delicious meals from simple recipes learned from predecessors not only provides nutrition but also preserves family traditions. How to learn. Proactively ask and ask older people to teach you practical skills. Spend time doing these tasks with them. Look for guidebooks or videos from reliable sources, and cross-reference with advice from predecessors. The fifth, related to facing difficulties, is lessons on mental strength and resilience after hardship. The lives of the previous generation were not easy, they went through wars, economic crises, loss of loved ones, and countless other challenges. Why is this lesson important in an era full of uncertainty and pressure like today? Because they learned how to face adversity, find inner strength, and recover after setbacks. Example of resilience. Listen to stories from grandparents or parents about the most difficult periods in their lives. How did they cope with loss, unemployment, illness? Learn about the sources of motivation that helped them get through, e.g., family, faith, community. Understand how they maintained optimism or found meaning in challenging circumstances. Example in family. Sharing stories of grandparents' resilience with your children helps them learn the value of not giving up. Learning how family members supported each other during difficult times can strengthen family unity. How to learn. Encourage older people to share their life stories. Listen sincerely and ask deep questions about their feelings and thoughts during challenging periods. Read books on history and stories about human resilience in difficult circumstances. The sixth, an important lesson about wisdom, is lessons on how to distinguish timeless principles and outdated advice. Not all advice from the previous generation is relevant to the current world. The important thing is the ability to distinguish between timeless wisdom and experience that was only true in the past context. Why is this lesson important? Because the rapidly changing world requires us to be selective, combining old values with new knowledge. For example, advice on diligence, honesty, building trust in work are timeless principles, no matter how technology changes. But advice on only working one job for life or only relying on a single source of information may be outdated in the age of AI and the Internet. Example in work. When receiving advice from an older mentor, analyze the principle behind the advice, e.g., perseverance, and apply it to your current context, e.g., persevering in learning a new AI skill. Instead of just following their specific method from 20 years ago. Example in family. Learning the value of preserving family traditions is important, timeless principle of connection. But the way it is done can change, e.g., instead of only meeting in person, you can have video calls for family members who live far away. How to learn. Listen to advice with respect but also with critical thinking. Ask about the reasons behind the advice. Compare it with your current knowledge and context. Discuss with others, same or different generations, to get multiple perspectives. Review the old to know the new. Combine old wisdom with new knowledge to gain deeper understanding. The seventh, how to proactively access this treasure, is lessons on the importance of seeking mentorship. Those who came before are not just family members, they can also be mentors in career, hobbies, or life in general. Why is seeking a mentor important? Because they can provide personalized guidance, share direct experience, help you avoid mistakes they made, and open doors to opportunities. Example in work. Find a mentor in your industry who has long-term experience to ask about career direction, how to deal with specific challenges, or how to develop leadership skills. Example in family. Find a mentor in marriage or parenting, an older couple you admire, to share and learn from their experiences. How to learn. Identify the areas where you need mentorship. Find people with experience in that area whom you admire. Proactively reach out to them, by email, phone, or in person, and express your desire to learn. Prepare specific questions. Listen sincerely and show appreciation. Learning from those who came before is a two-way process. Approach it with humility, respect, and willingness to listen. Remember that everyone has their own story and lessons. However, it is important to note that not every past experience is a role model to follow. And sometimes, relationships with older family members can be complex due to past issues or trauma. If you are having difficulty building or maintaining healthy relationships with older relatives for these reasons, do not hesitate to seek professional help from a therapist. Addressing past issues can help you establish healthier relationships in the present and may open the door to receive valuable lessons in a more positive way. Dear friends, in the challenging and opportunity-filled lives of young and middle-aged people in America, learning from those who came before is not about returning to the past, but about using the wisdom and experience of the past to build a better future. By listening to stories, learning lessons on perseverance, finances, relationships, life skills, mental strength, and knowing how to filter timeless principles, you are equipping yourself with invaluable tools to face what lies ahead. Don't hesitate to share what valuable lessons you have learned from those who came before, whether family, mentors, or historical figures. The challenges you face in connecting with the previous generation, or any questions in the comments section below. Our community is here to learn, share, and celebrate the wisdom from those who have gone before. And if you found this video helpful and want to discover more secrets to effective learning, self-development, and building a more fulfilling life, don't forget to hit the like button, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next videos.